The top job often comes with a top car. For the US president, it's a Cadillac known as the Beast. For the British Prime Minister, it's a Jaguar XJ Sentinel. And Germany's Chancellor goes for a BMW. Custom-built, armoured and luxurious. Perhaps not the words you'd use for the president of Uruguay's vehicle. This, a 1987 VW Beetle. But Jose Mujica says an Arab sheikh has now offered him $1 million for the car. It's an offer that's amused people in the South American country.
At first I thought it was funny to offer so much money for a Beetle. I do not think he needs it, but if he wants to sell it and the car is on sale, let him take advantage of it.
The car became a symbol of the leader's austere lifestyle. When he became president in 2010, he said it was all he owned. Even the rundown farm he lives on was in his wife's name. Some think his car could fetch even more if it went to auction.
Auctioning that car would mean a large sum of money. As I said, that car could be worth more than 10 trucks.
President Mujica, popularly known as Pepe, says if he got money or trucks, he'd give them away. The man once nicknamed the poorest president in the world now seems to be sitting on, or in, a little treasure trove. Ben Bland, BBC News.
And I met you by chance, sikujua you'll be my one. And I hate to admit, baby, unanichizisha kweli. The way she moves, I swear mate yanidondoka mimi.
Hello fans of Hapa Kipanda Humanity. Today we are going to talk about the president who worked for almost 10 years in power, but ended to die poor. He did not die poor without reasons. He had genuine reasons as to why he died poor. This president worked for almost 10 years in the president, and after finishing being the president, he was re-elected as the senator for 5 years. And after those 5 years ended, he was re-elected again and appointed as the Minister of Agriculture in Uruguay, but still ended up to be poor. What made him to be poor, despite of getting the highest rank in the government of Uruguay for almost 10 years and being chosen out of government seats? Listen now. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, share, comment and enjoy watching. So, we want to talk about Jose Mujica. Jose Alberto Pepe Mujica Coldano was the president of Uruguay. He was born May 1935 and died 13 May 2025. Was an Uruguayan politician, revolutionary and the farmer who served as the 40th president of Uruguay from 2010 to 2015. A former guerrilla with the Tupamaros, he was tortured and imprisoned for 14 years during the military dictatorship in 1970s and 1980s. A member of Broad Front coalition of the left-wing parties, Mujica was the Minister of Livestock, Agriculture and Fisheries from 2005 to 2008 and served as a senator afterwards. As the candidate of the Broad Front, he won 2009 presidential election and took office as the president on 1st March 2010. Jose Mujica was born in 1935. Now then, Mujica administration implemented a range of progressive policies, including the discrimination of and declining of abortion, the legalization of marijuana consumption, and the legalization of the same-sex marriage. Additional measures strengthened the country's trade unions and significantly policed minimum wages. While in office, Mujica was described as being the world's poorest president. Mark those words. While in office, let me emphasize that, while Mujica was in office, he was described as being the world's poorest president due to his lifestyle. He lived a normal life despite of being the president of Uruguay, and his donation of around 90% of his US dollars, 12,000 monthly salary in dollars. He donated 90% to charities that support low-income individuals and small entrepreneurs. He was an outspoken critic of capitalism. He was an outspoken critic of capitalism. He never believed in capitalism. Capitalism is when people don't share. He believed in sharing and characterized it as having focus on stockpiling material possessions which do not contribute to human happiness. So this Chosemuchka was against capitalism. He believed in sharing. That's why he ended up being poor. His early life and education. Jose Alberto Mujica Cardinal was born 1995 in Luz Cardinal in Uruguay. De Mateo was a descendant of Spanish Pasque family who lived in Uruguay in 1982. In 1842, through his paternal grandmother Mujica is a distant relative of several prominent Uruguayan politicians, including Gabriel Terra, who served the country's 26th president in 1931 to 1938. Demetrius' parents owned several agricultural properties which were used as training grounds for soldiers to combat the uprisings led by revolutionary leader Apicero Salafia. So this leader, let's talk about his presidency in 2010 to 2015. But before that, let's talk about earlier career of Jose Mujica and 2009 presidential campaign. In 1994 general election, Mujica was elected deputy, and in the elections of 1999, he was elected senator. Due in part of Mujica's charisma, the MPP continued to grow in popularity and votes, and by 2004 it had become the largest faction within the Broad Front. In the elections of that year, Mujica was re-elected to the Senate, and the MPP obtained over 300,000 votes, thus consolidating its position as the top political force within the coalition and a major force behind the victory of presidential candidate. On 1st March 2005, Vasquez designated Mujica as the Minister of Livestock, Agriculture and Fisheries. Mujica's own professional background was in the agriculture sector. Upon becoming the minister, Mujica resigned in his position as a senator. He held this position until the cabinet changed in 2008, when he resigned and was replaced by Agazi. Mujica then returned to the seat in the Senate after resigning. Let's talk about the 2009 presidential campaign. Even though President Vasquez favored his financial minister Danilo Astor as the presidential candidate of the ununified Broad Front to succeed in 2010, Mujica's broad appeal and growing support within the party posed a challenge to the president. On 14 December 2008, a special party convention proclaimed Mujica as the official candidate of the Broad Front for the 2009 primary election. But 4 more candidates were allowed to participate, including Astori. On 28/2009, Mujica won the primary election to become the presidential candidate of the Broad Front for 2009 presidential election. After that, Astori agreed to be his running mate. The campaign was centered on the concept of continuing and deepening policies of the highly popular administration of Vasquez, using the slogan indirectly referencing cases of administrative corruption within the former government of major opposition candidate. During the campaign, Mujica distanced himself from governing style of presidents like Hugo Chavez of Venezuela or Evo Morales of Bolivia, claiming the center-left governments of Brazil and Luis as the regional examples upon which he will model his administration. Known for his informal style of dress, Mujica donned a suit. Mujica donned a suit without a tie. He never wore a tie. That's what the kind of lifestyle Mujica lived with. He used to wear a suit but without a tie for some stops in the presidential campaign, notably during his visits to the regional heads of state. In 2009, Mujica won over 48% of the votes compared to 30% for the former president, Lascelles, falling short of the majority required by the constitution, while at the same time renewing the Broad Front's parliamentary majority for the next legislature, 2010 to 2015. A runoff was then held 29 November to determine the winner. On 30th November, Mujica emerged as the victor with more than 52% of the vote over Lacalis 48%. In his first speech as the president-elect before a crowd of supporters, Mujica acknowledged his political adversaries and called for unity, stating that there will be no winners or losers. He added that it's a mistake to think that the poor comes from above when it comes from within the hearts of the masses. It has taken me a lifetime to learn this fact. So Mujica formed a cabinet made up of his politicians from the presidential components of Broad Front, and they emerged the winner. So though even if Mujica served many positions in the government, then he became the president, he ended up dying poor because he contributed almost half of his salary to the charities. He never believed in capitalism, so donations were given from Mujica were half of his salary. That's why Mujica died poor, and he used to own the car. His lifestyle was not flourish. Thanks for watching. Keep on subscribing, comment, share, and if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, you can link on the link below. Click the button of subscription. After you have subscribed, you comment, and then after commenting, you can share our video. And keep on following us. We update political stories each and every day. Don't be left behind. Be part of our team. Thanks for being part of our team. Continue following us. Comment. Let's meet on the comment section there down below.